Hey, everybody, it's Michelle Renee, and welcome to another episode of Soul Wide Open. Today's topic just hit me like a ton of bricks last week. And this is all about clearing space and making room in your life for magic to happen. How much stuff is what I guess I'll call it right now. How many people are in our life and stuff is in our life that just does absolutely nothing for us anymore and is basically just clogging up space in our life. We literally have people and things in our life. It reminds me of a drain that's clogged. Like the water can't flow, the magic can't flow. Great new experiences can't flow because there are people and things in our life that we're allowing to clog our emotional drain, our spiritual drain. I am going to talk about an experience that I had last week that brought this so crystal clear into focus for me. So let's get to it.
Welcome to the Soul Wide Open podcast with your host, author and certified trauma-informed coach Michelle Renee.
Okay, I'm going to go back like 20 years. I'm in Vegas and I see this really handsome, well-dressed man. And I decide I'm going to go walk over there where him and his friends are and just kind of watch them play blackjack and just be there and just watch them and see what happens. Next thing you know, he's introducing himself to me. His friends are standing up and saying, "Come sit down." And I end up meeting this wonderful man and we begin dating. Fast forward like 3 years, he decides that he is just heartbroken about being separated from his wife, and not necessarily being separated from his wife. He's heartbroken about being separated from his kids. And he does not know what to do. He is just beside himself. His kids are upset with him still that he's, still separated. He's going through with the divorce and they just are angry and he just is heartbroken. I remember asking him, "Did you give your marriage 110%? Because if you did not give your marriage 110%, we have no chance of ever making it because you will always wonder whether or not if you went back and gave it 110%, if it would have worked." And holding your family together is the number one thing. So with absolutely my blessing, even though I was heartbroken, I said, "Go back, go be with your family. Like I'm in support of that. As much as I love you, go give it a go give it a whirl. I mean, bravo, make it work if you can. Of course I'm going to be heartbroken. Of course I thought this was going to work out differently or I never would have gotten into it in the first place. Um, but so he did. And we've stayed in contact all these years. It's been over 20 years. And he's called me. I've refused to see him since he decided to return to his marriage. He calls me on my birthday. He calls me when, there's a certain song that comes on that was our song to say hello. And suddenly last week I get a text out of the blue and he's on a plane. And he's on his way to Las Vegas, which is really close to San Diego. Um, it's literally a 4.5 hour drive, and it's where we first met. So there's like some nostalgia going on there. And he's like, "I'm going to Vegas, really thinking about you." And he starts saying that he misses me. And I don't know what it was, but something for the very first time just absolutely clicked for me. It was just an absolute hard no for me. And in my mind, in that moment, I thought, this person's just taking up space in my life. This person is taking up valuable real estate in my life, in my heart, in my soul, in my mind. Like this is valuable real estate that deserves someone to fill that is worthy of my time, that is actually providing something of an equal exchange. This person was no longer doing anything at all for me in my life. They were not adding anything. And as a matter of fact, not only was this, real estate that wasn't earning any equity, it was negative equity because now I'm on the phone and I'm seeing the things that he's texting, saying, I'll text you when I land in Vegas. And this was at like 3 in the afternoon. It's 10 o'clock at night. There's still no text. I'm like, you know what? I guess you never made it to Vegas. I sent him a text, and his response was, "Oh, it's no fun for me tonight. What a nightmare trying to check into this place. I just got to my room. It's like 10:30 at night." You know what? I just immediately thought to myself, I never want to hear from this person, talk to this person, have this person creating this clog in the drain of my life and the flow of my life. This person was a clog. They were clogging up the flow and taking up space that I really want to free up so that someone else and other experiences can come and fill that place that are going to bring joy into my life, that are going to bring something really positive into my life. And this person hadn't brought anything positive into my life in a really long time. And I want to tack onto that a little bit too, because here's where the psychology that we get stuck into when we suffer from a lack of self-worth and a lack of self-esteem. Because when I was in this place of lower self-esteem and lower self-worth, him calling me on my birthday felt like he was adding something good to my life. I was like, "Oh my gosh, he still thinks of me on my birthday. He still calls me on my birthday. That is so special." No, that's not special. When you or I'll say it like this, when I began to really love myself and value myself and my time and my emotional real estate, I began to understand that those phone calls were nothing special. As a matter of fact, they're kind of disturbing. Why are you, a married man, calling me and telling me happy birthday or that you miss me or that you're thinking of me? I don't care, to be honest. That means absolutely nothing to me as a woman today who values herself and loves herself. So, for whatever reason, last week when I got this text and I thought to myself, I don't even want this person taking up space in my phone. And for the first time in over 20 years, I deleted and blocked this person. I have to tell you, that was quite a moment for me where I thought, who else is taking up valuable space in my life? Who else am I spending my energy on and my time on and allowing to take up space in my phone or my life that, like my friend Andrea said to me, because I was telling her about this, we were on the phone and she said she had a similar situation where she said, this situation isn't doing anything for me anymore. This person in my life doesn't do anything for me or add anything at all in a positive way to my life. Why am I still allowing this? And that is where I think we all need to begin to look at ourselves when we decide that we want to become the best version of ourselves. And we want to live a life that is fully healed because there's those little teeny tiny dark corners of our life or our heart that even though we might think, oh my gosh, I've done all this healing, like I've done so much work in the healing space, and I'm so much further along than I've ever been in my entire life. And then suddenly I get this text and I realize I haven't fully healed this space. I have not fully addressed this thing right here that is absolute evidence that I do not value myself and love myself, and I am not living my life in my most authentic way to my highest potential if this person is still allowed to text me and call me and they're still in my phone and they're still in my life in any way. And that just hit me last week. I was like, uh-oh, uh-oh, I need to look at this. And it just dawned on me. What else and who else is in my life that is in those hiding in those little corners in my life that I need to address that we haven't looked at or we haven't healed yet, that peek their little heads up in the most unexpected times when we think we're doing great. And all of a sudden, this little thing pops up and you have a decision to make. And these are the types of things that happen where it seems like such a small thing. Like I could have just said, thank you for the text. Have a great time in Vegas and left it at that. I didn't have to delete him. I didn't have to block him. I didn't have to go start diving deeply into why am I still allowing this person in my life? Sure, we had a few years of an amazing, sort of whirlwind, great romance and this great connection. But that was a long time ago. And the moment he decided he needed to go give his marriage another try, there was no romantic connection for us anymore. And I thought for the longest time it was okay for us to still be friends, but the truth is that's not okay. I don't want to be friends like that with an ex-lover who is now married. And is that okay? Do I want that for myself if that was my husband? No, I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for any other woman. And I don't want to be the person in that scenario for that other woman or for him. That's that is evidence of a place in my life that I knew I needed to address and a place in my life that I knew needed some healing. And it comes from that place that started a long, long time ago when I was really little, thinking that, my only value came from, men basically wanting to use me. Because if you look at this from the perspective of really valuing yourself, what was he getting out of this by texting me that he missed me, by texting me on my birthday? He's using me for something that he needed. This had nothing to do with me. He wasn't, in my opinion, trying to make me feel good or help me have a better day or cheer me up or any of those things. The reasons why he would reach out to me on those times had nothing to do with me. Those had everything to do with filling a need that he has and using me to fill that need. Even though I was never going to be a priority, he was never going to choose me or choose us ever. And I had to come to a place where I thought, I have to recognize where I began to adopt feeling that those types of behaviors from men were compliments. Those aren't real compliments. Those are needs that they are trying to fulfill for themselves and using us to fulfill those needs. And I just really snapped into that last week and thought, okay, it's time for me now to step into this new place in my life where I am clearing space in a way and on a level that I really didn't even know existed because I hadn't been aware enough or self-aware enough or love myself enough or have enough self-esteem and worth to recognize that those little dark corners still existed. And when those little devils peek their little heads out, I didn't recognize them as negatives. I thought they were I thought they were compliments. I thought that made me special somehow. And that is all the evidence that I needed to realize that I had some more healing to do and I had some more growing to do. And I had some blocking and deleting to do, which I started doing. And I'm ready for a beautiful, wonderful love and romance in my life. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for this great guy to come into my life and for us to have so much fun together and have such a deeply spiritually connected relationship and a very intellectually connected relationship. But there's no way I'm going to attract that person into my life when I've got Mr. Fulfilling his needs, telling me he misses me, clogging my flow. Like, there's no way I'm going to attract that as long as I allow these other people to take up space in my life and occupy valuable emotional real estate. So I want to encourage you to really begin to, I mean, before something like this hits like it did me, and it might take that for you. It might take somebody calling you and you suddenly on the phone going, is this person taking up real estate in my life that they don't deserve? Because we only have a limited amount. That should be reserved for the best of the best. And if you're on the phone or you're in a meeting or somebody invited you to go somewhere and you just felt obligated because you felt like maybe you owed them something, or and you're just miserable and you're just going through the motions because you're just showing up for all the wrong reasons for somebody else instead of showing up authentically for yourself, and this person's just taking up valuable real estate and it clicks, you know that it's time for you to start being really honest with yourself about who's taking up space in your life that doesn't deserve it. And that could be hard because sometimes that's even family. That's really hard because that could be somebody that not only this person that I've known for over 20 years, and it really wasn't that difficult when it snapped in because it wasn't like this person's been a close friend all of these years, but sometimes it is somebody that you've been close to that you've outgrown, that you need to put in to sort of a different category in your life. Who and what is taking up space in your life that you need to clear and make space for the magic to be able to happen, because the magic isn't going to happen until you clear that space, until that flow is no longer clogged up with somebody that's using you, somebody that thinks you're their crutch, somebody that thinks you're their punching bag. And every time they're mad at the world, they just call and dump on you. Who and what is clogging up the flow in your life that you need to clear in order for that magic to happen? I hope you found this episode really, really helpful. And I hope it becomes clear to you kind of the way that you need to navigate clearing that space in your life. I didn't tell this person I was deleting them and blocking them. I just did it. They don't need to know. I don't owe them any explanation. I don't owe them anything at all. I did this for me. I'm showing up in my life for me. I'm clearing that space for me. This has nothing to do with him. He doesn't need to know. There's a lot of freedom in that, actually. So, how you choose to clear that space in your life needs to be something that feels good for you. And it could be having a conversation. It could be doing what I did and just saying, I'm just not going to allow this anymore. And just clearing and blocking. I just never want to see this person's name show up on my phone ever again. I just don't want to hear this person's voice. I just have zero desire for it whatsoever, which is a clear indication that I had a massive growth spurt last week, which is so much fun that I'm now just celebrating this growth spurt because I just have no desire whatsoever. So it feels really good to heal that space and address that space and clear that space in my life. Um, and I really hope that you decide to take out your journal and start really being honest and vulnerable with yourself about the people in your life that you may need to block and delete. Clear that space in your life, show up for yourself, do it for you, and celebrate that new sense of flow in your life. Thanks for tuning in. Please share the show, like it, love it, subscribe to it, all the things. I need all the support I can get because I'm a brand new show and I want to keep it going. And I'll be releasing new episodes every Thursday at midnight. So tune in, tell me what you love about it, what you like about it, and join me over on Instagram _Michelle Renee _. I'll see you there.